Welcome to episode 10 of the Game Plan Online. My name is Nick Dillon, and our special guest today, coming all the way down from Adelaide, West Adelaide Football Club football manager Andrew Marks and strength and conditioning coach. Is that right?
Yeah, you could add that to
the growing number of roles you got down there.
Wow.
Former AFL star as well, Jason Porplyzia. So welcome lads.
Thanks guys. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you guys up here, and we appreciate your time. So. Well, firstly, I'll chat to you both about how you got involved in Westies, and firstly, you, Andrew, how did you get involved with the Bloods?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was only asked that the other week by Jason, in fact. In 2009, I was coaching under-18 coach at Happy Valley Football Club, which is in the Southern Football League, and Happy Valley is was zoned to West Adelaide back then.
Yep.
So I had to be in touch with Greg Mellor, who was the under-18 coach of Westies at that time, about players going back and forth between West Adelaide and Happy Valley. And Greg and I guess, developed a friendship and relationship over the phone and over those phone calls. And in 2010, he invited me to be an assistant coach with the under-18s. Yep. So I was their forward line coach. Then things started to move very quickly. I had a coffee with Andrew Collins, and cut a long story short, next year I'm working full time at West Adelaide as their talent manager, and I've progressed through to be the football manager now.
That's fantastic, and obviously enjoying your time there and making some real progress with the club at the moment. Yeah,
it is. It's a very enjoyable place. It's a great family atmosphere. The senior players are a really, really good bunch of guys. I admire the senior players about how welcoming. I give the example of my family. The guys will come up, guys like Jason, Chris Schmidt, John O'Beach, all of those guys, they'll come up and say hello to my family, and 9 times out of 10 they'll use my wife's name. They'll say hello Jane, and I think that's really special, and it says something about the character of the boys. And at the footy club we have a really big emphasis that we're not there to develop good footballers, we're there to develop good men. And as a result of developing good men, you will automatically have good footballers.
Yep.
So we're obviously very proud of that. And 5 senior players in the state side that played in Perth a few weeks ago. 7 under-18 boys in the state squad that are playing in the national championships at the moment. 2 under-16s in the under-16 state squad.
Yep. So you're churning them out at the moment.
Yeah. And then to top that off, our 5 women from our women's team were playing in the state side as well. So, it's been very exciting.
Excellent. And Jason obviously recently retired, but decided to go back to West Adelaide. Was that always a lure to go back there eventually?
Yeah, well, I guess my relationship with Westies started right through my junior career. I came through the junior grades and progressed all the way to senior football, and I guess when my AFL career finished, there was only really one place that I wanted to go back to, and that was West Adelaide, because of the great times that I'd had there previously, and they'd always looked after me really well. So it was great that the club got in contact with me and were happy to have me back and sort of build that relationship again. So it's been great to be back and really enjoying it so far.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your role there. Obviously, it'd be a completely different thing coming straight out of playing AFL football and then jumping into a coaching style role as well.
So I guess strength and conditioning is not quite the area, but I am the Centre of Excellence Coordinator, which is our under-16s and under-18s.
You're doing a bit of study as well?
Doing a bit of study, to get involved in the strength and conditioning work down the track, so that's a bit of a long-term thing, but working under Marksy 3 days a week, which has been really great fun, and I've said before that the working environment at the club is great to be involved in, and obviously learning a real lot about the ins and outs of running the football club, and doing as best I can to give back to the junior guys and help them out and help their development, and hopefully progress as many guys as we can through to our senior team, and hopefully for the really talented ones to progress to the AFL.
For sure. Now you made your debut in 2006, was it? 2006?
Yeah, AFL debut. Yeah,
AFL
2006.
debut.
Yeah,
Come in for Matty Bode, I believe, and now you're doing a bit of that sort of role.
Who's been having a word in your ear?
Well, I just heard you might be up for his role at the Crows, mate. You're doing the same thing at West as he is at the Crows, and thought you might be up for that one next.
Yeah, Marksy gets stuck in there because he did find out somehow that the person's spot that I took when I made my debut was Matty Bode, and now Marksy thinks I'm out to get him again from a strength and conditioning point of view, because he's one of the main men down at the Adelaide Crows in that department, but I can assure you that's not the case. He's looking after me at the moment and sort of mentoring me through that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's all good, and I've got a good relationship with him. We get along pretty well.
Marksy stitched you up there, mate.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously here to do a few coaching clinics with the kids, but you also did the senior. You did the senior one the other night as well. Yep. So what are you guys looking for overall from this weekend to get out of it?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be aware of how things have changed at West Adelaide. Mm-hmm. I can remember as a kid growing up and going to West Adelaide games and going to watch West Adelaide train. And the number of cars in the players' car park in those days that had Victorian number plates was phenomenal. So the club probably has a history, and I wasn't part of that, of perhaps importing players. But that situation has changed, completely changed. When you look at our under-18 side at the moment, 52% of our under-18 side that's currently that current squad, 52% of them are country boys. Yeah. Obviously, the Riverland has a big bearing in that. It's our biggest country zone. We have the Mallee and Roxby Downs. So the Riverland has a massive part in that. We've, since the start of the under-18 competition, which was in 2009, we've promoted 39 boys to go on and play league football. Yeah. We have a situation where on last year's data, we haven't done the data this year. But on last year's data, we were in second place out of all the SANFL clubs that played locally developed players, so players from our zone, and we were second to Norwood by less than 1%. And at that stage, Norwood didn't have a country zone; all their zone was metro. Okay. So to have a zones as far away as the Riverland from Adelaide, realistically, Sturt have the Hills and Murray Bridge. South Adelaide have Victor Harbour. So,
in their proximity.
Yeah, it takes some time and effort to get out here. We've also been receiving stats from the AFL that in ratio of the number of kids that play football within our zone to the number of kids that are getting drafted, we're actually in 8th spot in the whole of Australia on that ratio. Good. There is one SANFL club that's in front of us, but Jason and I worked out that if we had have got one more player drafted, and we all think that should have been John O'Beach, if he had have got drafted, we would have been above that other SANFL club. Yep. And it's really difficult because you're not realistically comparing apples to apples or oranges to oranges in the Riverland, because the Cape York Peninsula is in front of us. 400 kids play football in Cape York Peninsula, and they got one drafted. So their ratio was higher than us. Yeah. So we're incredibly proud of the talent that we're developing. We're incredibly proud that our majority of our league side is made up of players that have been developed from our zone. And obviously the Riverland plays a massive part in that.
Yeah, excellent. And you spent some time in the schools today, Jason. Were any of the young fellas impress you today, though?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good fun going out to the schools and seeing the kids, and they're always very active and want to get involved, and there's certainly some young talent getting around. So, as Marksy said, part of why we're up here is to unearth that talent and hopefully see where our next league footballers are coming from. And I can certainly vouch for what he said before about in the past a lot of our senior side was made up of guys coming from interstate. When I made my league debut at West Adelaide, more than half the side would have been coming from interstate. So it's great to see that things have turned around now, and a lot of time and effort is going into developing these areas. And I was just saying before that you think of the Riverland, you think of West Adelaide, and when I was coming up playing football, I just knew that people like Mark Rasciuto and Sean Wren were West Adelaide people from the Riverland. So I guess it's our job to make sure that we keep getting those people through, and certainly there's some kids who have some very bright futures ahead of them.
Definitely.
When he said Sean Wren, he meant Mark Micken, of course, because Sean Wren's from the West Coast and was
both big.
Yeah, pardon me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm
That's
getting
okay.
confused between very good West Adelaide ruckman.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good. And obviously you would have spent some time with a few of the Riverland boys that are playing down there this year. What's impressed, or who are some of the guys that have really impressed you so far? Obviously Jono would be one, Jono Beach. Are there any other guys as well?
Yeah, well, Jono's obviously been around in the league side for a little while. Aaron Filkey's another one from Loxton North, I think. So those two guys have sort of cemented themselves into the league side. But there's a couple of up and comers as well. Jack Agostino's one from Renmark, who's really impressed me this year. He's got a great attitude and great willingness to learn, and there's a number of other guys who are sort of coming through our under-18s program who've doing a really good job as well. Kenny Carpenter, Caden Coates,
Tyler Wagner, Sam Butterworth.
So
and of course the standout for this year from currently is of course Aaron Francis.
So I was
and the work that he's been doing has been fantastic.
Going to get to Aaron, because obviously Aaron at the moment, speaking to you last night, he's going to go pretty high by the sounds of it in the AFL draft, which is great for a small club like East Murray, which is the club exists, but they don't have a team on the park. To have two first round draft picks within 2 years is going to be massive for them.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Can you tell us a little bit about Aaron and how he's going?
Look, Aaron is going incredibly well. I think from our footy club's point of view, we really need to perhaps keep a lid on things from the media side of things. He's getting bombarded with a number of phone calls and requests and all that kind of stuff. And, the point that you make, he's a kid from Wanby, and all of a sudden he's in the eyes of the whole of the football world, including Melbourne at the moment. So we've got to really balance that out for him, because his main focus has to be football. And he's playing some good football in the national championships. When he comes back to us, he'll probably play either league or reserves football, and we really have to keep a watch on how many demands outside of football that he has, given his profile is lifting so much.
Sure. And while we're on the potential first round draft picks, we'll talk about Sam Durden as well, who have you heard much about how he's going over at North? Has he kept in contact?
Sam keeps in contact regularly. Sam is really enjoying Melbourne. He's got a really good host family over there. I caught up with Sam in March. I went over to Melbourne myself and had dinner with him. The fact that he's already signed a 3rd-year contract, so when you're drafted, you automatically get 2 years. North Melbourne have already signed him for a 3rd, which is very exciting for him. North Melbourne have a very interesting situation that half of their sides, that boys that aren't picked for their main AFL side, half of them go to North Ballarat and the other half go to Werribee. So it's really hard to develop your game style and that you're expecting when you're in two different spots. So in saying that, the North Ballarat coach is a guy by Gerald Fitzgerald, I think from memory, who's been in the VFL system for years and years and years. So he's going to be really good at developing Sam and working through. I know when he played against Andrew Collins, our old coach at Westie's team at Williamstown thrashed North Ballarat. So
so he's got an interesting rest of the year ahead by the sounds.
Absolutely. But he's remaining injury free, which I think is really important, because the last 2 years had a bit of injury for him, and he's getting experience in against if he plays against even if he plays against Werribee, he could be standing Majak Door. So those kind of opportunities for him are going to be really good.
Excellent. And just lastly, before we go into this week's games, Jason, obviously recently retired, as we spoke about. How do you see the Crows going at the moment? And great news that Rory Sloane has re-signed, and Richie Douglas as well. Things are going on the right track there, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it starts at the top, and the new CEO they've appointed, Andrew Fagan, seems like he's doing a really good job there. And obviously getting Phil Walsh as senior coach was a great fillip for the football club, and I go in there every now and again, and I can see the work that he's doing, and the boys are really responding to how hard Phil pushes the group and his demands and expectations of them, and they're really lifting to that. So they're certainly heading in the right direction, and obviously, you know, when they have such quality guys like Rory and Dougie signing on, then I think that's a pretty good advertisement for the football club in terms of you know, where the players think they're heading. So and you know, Taylor Walker signing up before the season even started. So yeah, they've still got a lot of work to do, but certainly I think Phil's vision is starting to spread within the group, and they can see that there's some pretty exciting times ahead. So
for sure. Any whispers on danger at all, mate, that you can let slip here?
Sorry, I can't give you any scoop. Yeah, I'll be finding out just like everyone else. I won't be finding anything out before. Yeah.
Hopefully he stays for Crow's sake. So we'll just quickly go through the ins and outs for this week. And so the first game is Wakery versus Berry. Now Wakery obviously bounced back last week for a big win over Loxton, or 2-point win over Loxton. It was huge for their season. So ins for Wakery, Salim Hassan. You guys might know a little bit about him. No outs at this stage, so they're finally over their injury curse. And Berry have got a few back in. Rory Carell, Brad Doling, Mark Hamilton, Jamie Milburn, and out the old Pelican Greg White and Josh Wilson are out. So if you guys want to have a quick tip,
well, obviously Wakery have struggled a bit this year, and they're a very talented side around, and I think they'll probably have a better second half to the year if they're remaining injury free. So and obviously it's at Wakery. I would think Wakery would win that. But I'd like to mention Brad Doling, that he's been part of our program, and he's gone through a horrific injury when playing in a trial game before Christmas. He ruptured his spleen, and the fact that he's actually back playing football, he's played 2 reserves games this year from his recovery, and he's played a few RFL games for Berry, is just an amazing situation for him, and his character and his willingness to keep going is just incredible. So real credit to Brad, and I hope he has a good one for Berry for sure.
For sure. Jace?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Berry off the back of that and hope that Brad gets the win. I saw the results from last week's game and all under a kick. Different, so
unbelievable.
Obviously things are tight in the competition up here, but it's good to see.
No worries. I'm going to go Berry to bounce back. They're overdue. So
they're having a great year, Berry. We're hearing lots of good stuff about their program and how they've improved out of sight.
Definitely,
which is great stuff. Lefty's a good fella.
Them and Loxton have come a long way. Second game is Renmark versus Loxton. So ins for Renmark, the big ruckman Zach Gartree, Benny Harding coming to the midfield somewhere. Kane Pedler, another Westies boy, is playing for him this week. Brody Redpath up from the Bees, and Josh Warnock will slot on the wing, no doubt. And Jake Blackwell's out with a bit of a knee injury from last week. For Loxton, just Tom Tahini and Zach Kirk are the 2 wins for them at this stage, and no outs. So Renmark have rebounded pretty well after a pretty disastrous start. 6 losses in a row, now 2 wins in a row. And Loxton, faltered a little bit last week, so it should be a good game, I think.
Absolutely. Kane Pedler, he'll probably spend the rest of his time here in Redmark now because of injuries that he's had. He's decided that RFL footy is the way for him at least this year.
Yeah, it's a great place for Redmark.
And he's a great fella. He works so hard on his game, but injuries have just really messed things up. And Tom Tahini has been, you talk about from Loxton, he's played a few under-18 games, and his strength, he's huge for a 19-year-old boy. His strength, his voice, his leadership is really positive for a kid his age. I think Loxton are really having a good year, and I think they'll beat Renmark.
Yep, Jace?
I'm going to go Loxton as well. I like Tommy Tahini. He's a good young kid, and for that reason, I hope he does well and gets Loxton over the line.
And with not giving too much away, I wish Tom Tahini's father a quick recovery. He's been in the wars a bit the last few weeks, and Tom's been amazing in helping his family. So, Mr. Tahini, all the best.
Excellent. No worries. I'm going to go Loxton as well. So 3 from 3 for Loxton there. And the last of the Riverland games, Loxton North and Barmah Monash. Some big ins for Loxton North. Another former Westies player. Lockie Henschke's back in, and Brogan Whitelaw are out. We've got Ty McKenzie, and Michael Scott's got a bit of a hamstring injury, so he'll miss that one. And for Barmah Monash, more Westies guys. Just keep rolling through. Sam Butterworth and Ken Carpenter back in, along with Jake Smith in the midfield, and the skipper Matty Lason's out with a bit of a commitment elsewhere. So another big game there for third versus fourth. Should be a ripper.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Lockie and probably more importantly, Sam Butterworth and Ken Carpenter.
Look, Sam Butterworth and Ken Carpenter have had, I believe, standout years with our under-18s. They've probably been, they've certainly been part of our programs before, but I think this has been a real stepping stone for them to perhaps go on. They've taken the next step with their football, and potentially they could play SANFL football if they keep league footy, if they keep working hard on it and going for it.
That's good.
Yeah. So I believe Loxton North will win that one though, mate.
Yeah.
This time of year, Loxton North usually start getting serious about things, especially finals time. Woolie's a great fella and a great coach, and we had that coaches forum the other night, and the number of Loxton North blokes were there was just fantastic. So they're a very organised footy club, and I think they'll beat Barra Monash this week.
Yep, no worries, Jace.
Yeah, sticking with my Westies theme and seeing Kenny and Butters back for Barra Monash, I'm going to go for them and see if the boys can get a win for them.
Beautiful. I'm going to go with Barra too, purely on the fact that they've just got such a good record against Loxton North over the years, and every other week I normally tip Loxton North, and especially normally against Barra I still tip Loxton North, but I'm going to go with a few recent wins to Barra over the Panthers there. So I'll just quickly go through the independent games. We've got Wonka versus Cobdogla. No wins announced for Wonka at this stage, but I think they're still pretty full strength. A few wins for Cobby: Ben Gallagher, Ivan Maynard and Matt Rayson, and out Jason Goodfellow. Wonka should win this one pretty comfortably, I think.
Well, my mother-in-law's from Wonka, so I have to go for Wonka, and I've been following their results, and they've been doing quite well. So
Jace?
I'll go for Wonka as well. I've got no connection with either. Seems like the one to go for.
Yeah.
Very good. Lirip versus Moorooka Kingston. Some big ins for Lirip. Dean Hill, Tyson Lindsay's back. I think he only had just the 1 week with the Crows reserves. Shane Menz and Tyson Stowers, and out Darren Davies. In from Moorooka, no one at this stage, but they've got Craig Britton, Terry Packer's out with his knee injury, and Travis Voigt with a hamstring. So the Warriors pretty underdone. I think Lirip should win comfortably again. Yeah,
Lirip seem to be the team to beat in the independents at the moment. They're playing really good footy, and we've met their 2 new recruits from South Africa. They've been spending time with us the last couple of days. So
good lads.
Great fellas. Great story, but Lirip seem to be setting the pace.
Yep. Excellent. Jace?
Yeah, we'll make it a clean sweep, Lirip.
Three for Lirip, beautiful. And the last game is my boys Paringa against Ramco. Ins for the Swans are Dwayne Angel, Michael Miller, Nathan Rover, Pete Siddle, Aaron Tripney and John Wood. So a few back from injury for the Swans, and out Adam Forbes, Cameron McNaughton, James Patterson and Travis Ray Botham. For Ramco, they've got a few wins as well with the 2 Hart brothers, Luke and Nathan, Jake Norse, Jake Trimble and Blake Watkins, and out Lockie Kane, Brody Haynes, Adam Schultz, Snapper Teal and Jason Wilson. So obviously I'm going to tip my guys.
Paringa, yeah. Well, you should be asking me this tomorrow, because I've taken Paringa's training last night, and tonight we're travelling down to take Ramco's training, so we're going to have a good look at this one. But mate, you guys have to seriously. You're a talented side. Premiers 2 years ago. You've got to start coming good sooner or later, I think.
Well, let's hope so.
And it's probably time this week.
Yeah, we're a bit overdue, but they're a tough side, Ramco.
Absolutely, so. Yeah. And you've got to give really great credit to Barry. Barry is working really, really hard on that, and he keeps in touch with the West Adelaide strength and conditioning coach, Sean Baker.
Yeah.
At least once a fortnight, he's in touch with him to try and make sure that his program down at Ramco is running really well. That's just amazing stuff from him.
Yeah. No, he's doing a terrific job down there. They were winless last year, so they're going great.
Yeah, and they're going to be up there. They're going to push it.
Yeah, definitely. Jace?
Yeah, I wasn't at Paringa training last night, but I'll be there tonight for Ramco. So hopefully we can pass on some tips and words of wisdom and get them over the line for this week. So I'll go for Ramco.
No worries. 2-1 there. Hopefully Jace is wrong on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks very much for coming in, guys. We really appreciate it. I know you're busy this week. Spending time with a lot of different clubs and schools and things. So it's great to have you on board and with us today. So thanks for coming along, guys.
Our pleasure, Nick. Fantastic.
That's it from us. Make sure you grab your copy of the game plan, the hard copy at your actual football games this weekend. $3.50 at the gate. So that's it for episode 10 of the Game Plan Online. See you next week.